Going on to the S&P. I gotta say right now, I do think this week is choppy but up. I think it's tech. I can understand tech might be a different conversation. I kind of think tech is yeah, we could pull back as far as S&P goes. Why is this indicator on? Hang on. Uh, uh, we rallied up. We based. We really. Hmm. I think we. Typically I'll look for these ranges, right? We have this wick high right here, and then this wick low, and I'll really zoom in case you're watching on a phone. We have this going on right now, So typically, when I see a range established like that, we know there's a game of tug of war being played. The sellers are here, the buyers are here. Let's see where this goes. This zone is really faded out because somebody asked me to zone out the S&P, and we were right here. That's we were here. One of these. That's all the data we had, which is why I don't know if that's really a zone yet. Price action wise, that's what I think we only had these two candles, as a matter of fact. Because I specifically was talking about this wick down and this wick up. There's your game of tug of war going on right now. Uh, the more we push into this, the more we'll exhaust the sellers, and it does just kind of get our next grind up. Um, um, we had a green open so far. I don't know if we have any excuses for any news. Hey, look at that! It switched everything up. Usually on this software, if I switch tabs, it has to switch everything. What do we got this week? Today's the 22nd. So tomorrow we have Bostic speech, whatever. We have PMI, so we got some letters this week. Tuesday. So real quick, we're gonna go over these Fed speeches. Uh, you know, those it's funny how if the market doesn't move, it won't mean anything. But if the market does move, it'll be because that Fed person was speaking. So I really take that with a grain of salt, regardless. The better excuse to move any volume around will be PMI. Um, New home sales won't be much. GDP, jobless claims, we have that every week. Powell speech, Powell on Thursday, so we'll have some fireworks there, and PC on Friday. So we have some excuses to move things around this week. Um, I don't think I would be real capital intensive this week. I would probably keep things light. And when you're at all time highs, it's one of those things when you're at all time highs. Literally, almost every day or every other day, it's gonna be new all time high headlines. Stock market hits new all time highs. And then they blame the president. The president doesn't have anything to do with any of this. Uh, Sorry, we shouldn't talk about politics. Everyone gives every president way too much credit. But I think with every up move, we're going to see just almost just as much down. I just wouldn't be surprised either way. This does look like, yeah, kind of bull flaggish. At least a rally and a base, right? We hit that new high. We hit that, news headline. Tried to sell off, and everyone was like, no, no, no. We're just going to keep on keeping on. Just keep buying. So for now, I gotta say it'd be really hard to have a bearish argument right now. Going into elections, they don't want the market freaking out. The last thing they want to do is be pandering to voters about something else, and then the market just goes to crap, because they want to they don't need that on their plate right now. So they're just going to probably, and this might be tinfoil hat a little bit, but they're probably just going to keep the stock market on a fresh case, I guess. Yeah, so Cody says, I'm cool with sideways, so I can just make free money. We call that free internet money in my group. Because we do sell a lot of options, and any option seller, if we in it, option sellers make a lot of money when it's sideways or even just grinding up. Grinding down a little bit doesn't even matter, as long as there's no explosive moves up. Because we sell in the group, we sell a lot of out of the money stuff. So we can go up and go down and go sideways as long as it doesn't really exceed moves. Then you just make free money. So when it goes sideways and no bells are going off, nothing. That is just free internet money for sure. As far as the Nasdaq goes, I did draw these out. Hang on, we're gonna get rid of some of these lines real quick. Uh, I was just scribbling these out because going over something at a lunch meeting, talking about just different scenarios. I kind of think we're going to be on this. This is going to be our path right here. I think sideways, and then we're going to grind that thing up. with wicks going up and down. We could hit this zone. Then if we do hit and bounce right back up, I think we just chop around and we send it into that one. What would be cool is if this pattern right here pans out. Uh, Again, I'm gonna delete these right now, so I'm not gonna say I called it later. But if we get to this yellow zone, off any news, whatever, that's where I will probably be buying the dip. You know, on Don Fran's show, I just talk a lot about AI stuff, and right now I'm gonna start accumulating a lot of those shares. So I am gonna buy more Meta, Nvidia, Tesla. Um, I've thought I had enough Amazon and Google, and Microsoft. Microsoft kind of takes quite a bit of capital. I do like to buy in batches of hundreds, just so I can sell options. Anytime I buy hundreds of shares, something I just sell options contracts against it. This is in my investment account. So ears perking up. I'm gonna like it if we hit this yellow zone right here. And that's kind of the price action I would expect us to bounce. Or yeah, what I would expect to happen if we did hit that. Um, Realistically, we'll probably see a blend of these two scenarios. You'll think we're doing good, and we'll spike down to here, then come back up. So it might not be quite as picture perfect, but that's kind of how I expect this week to go for tech. But it would be cool if that thing could just melt down for a little bit. If someone could just say something bad about tech, that'd be phenomenal. I am going to go over the expected moves real quick. Let's just talk about the Russell. The Russell, I guess I would just take a zone play right now. If I was trading futures, it'd be this right here. I'd go long and put my stop below that red wick, and I would just play the uptrend, and that's kind of it. Let's check out financials real quick. Financials look like they might be stepping up. That does look bullish. So Bank of America might be a decent. I would have much rather bought in this zone. If I was going to buy Bank of America, if I was in any financials, a couple people have asked about this. I would hang on. Just because there's no box in there doesn't mean anything. Uh, by the way, if you ever see two white lines, just assume yellow zone. I will never do that for a weekly zone or an hourly speed bump zone. Remember, weekly is that pink or purple, whatever you want to call it. Hourly is that speed bump, that's blue. Uh, just two lines like this, yellow zone all day, every day. How I would manage my risk if I was buying Bank of America, I would put my stop at. Ooh, man, that's kind of close. I like the 35 cent or the 85 cent mark, but 38.85 puts you way down here. 39.35 puts you just outside the zone. I'd have to. That's just where I'd be, and that just comes from experience. That's why you'll hear me say my stops are there. It's just from a long time of like I'd put my stops on the dollar, they'd tag out. I moved it to 95 cents, got a little bit better, still tagged out right and turned around. 90 cents. Hey, we're getting a little bit better, still not to my liking. 85 cents. And I would avoid stops. They would come down wick at that psychological level, send it, and I would still be in the play. So then you got like the cheaper tickers. Then I kind of worry about the dollar and the 50 cent level, which is why I bring it down. JP Morgan, Bank of America look better. Overall chart though, JP Morgan looks a lot better. If I were buying this, my stop would be 206.35. And your zone for that is actually right. God forbid we have I don't know what's up with Trading View. Why does it not work sometimes? Like I just want to hit Alt H and then have my lines pop up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're actually hang on. So right here is gonna be your zone for that. So focus on this right here real quick. A lot of people say like, oh, how do you mark these zones out? And guys, I'm not kidding. This is not a push to join my group. If I could just make that one super video and you have it, that would be it. And then I would just have to not answer as many questions. But look for your buyers and sellers. Notice I did not say look at the news and check all your subscriptions and make sure you're the first one up. Oh, get up at 2 a.m. Don't forget to make your bed. Don't drink that coffee. All the things the rich people say to do. Anyway, it's none of that. Watch for the buyers and sellers. This is where they're voting with their money. This is how things are moving. So a lot of people will just grab consolidated candles because they'll watch one video of mine and think they got it figured out. And then they don't make money because they don't have it figured out. They're thinking, that looks like a zone right there. In fact, this is your zone. Here's where your sellers are. Here's where they showed up. Here's where your buyers held that up right down here. And you'll notice a lot of these times, they're the same over and over again. This would be a kind of like a speed bump zone, like, we're kind of getting close to this. But anyway, I just wanted to focus on that part right there because I think a lot of people, I used to do homework assignments in my group, which I know some people think is weird. But I would give it an entire a blank chart, and we'll all zone it. They zone it out first, submit it, and then I zone it out. And I don't want to call it the answer key, but you know, oftentimes they would grab these and I would grab this, and then we'd see it in the future price action. There's your rally, base rally. There's where we bounced. Here's where we are right now. And we even have wicks to both sides. Here's your sellers. Here's your buyers. Still that area of attention right there. So, uh, yeah, I'd put my, that sucks. If I was going to trade JP Morgan, I would buy right here. I would add on right here. And then I would stop out at 206.35. Now, notice I did not say I'm going to buy right here, and then when I'm down, I'm going to try to average down to get my price down. Again, that's silly. If you've ever done that, that's why you're not profitable. You don't have to tell me you're not profitable because I already know. So I'm going to risk $2,000 on this trade, for example. So I'm going to buy this, and my stop's going to be right here. And I'm going to fit however many shares I can. That's what we'll call $5 a share. So I'm going to fit as many as I can to risk $1,000. And then I'm going to do another one right here, risking $1,000, as many shares as I can, which you'll notice will be a lot more shares because my stop's right around the corner. And that's how I would do it. If it does just break up and out, bing, bang, boom, I'll just trail it. We'll be on the gain train. If it does drop down, I do buy more. But there's no way I'm going to rock 1,000 shares up and 2,000 shares down, or 1,000 down. And let's just explode that into even more. And then, because that's the fastest way to give up most of your money. Just don't do that. I don't know how to, I don't know if I can make it any simpler. When do I think the bull market flips? If we're going to have the conversation, it's going to be next year. I said that at the beginning of this year, and then we had this situation happen. This correction right here. I think that let a little bit of the pressure out right here. At this time right here, I was telling you guys Q1 of next year, things are going to get rough. I think we let a little bit of the pressure out, but I'm kind of back on to the Q1, but maybe it's not a sledgehammer to the back of the head kind of thing. But I would say let's see what happens Q1 of next year. But I'm very cautious when I talk about that. I got an amazing track record because I've literally called out every time I talked about a crash, it has happened. I'll put it that way. So I don't like to just talk about it and then coincidentally be right.